Manjula Jema. Jema, an audio word for the courtesy of a princess, was how she was addressed while growing up in the Surangi royal family of Odisha. Today, Dr. Manjula is the MD and CEO of the Calorex Group. This book, Baby Steps to Big Dreams, contains a diverse range of topics that apply to different age groups. The book was launched on the 23rd August 2023 at Mauritius in the presence of Honorable President of the Republic of Mauritius, His Excellence Mr. Prithviraj Singh Rupan, GCSK. Within a short period of 2 months, the book has already been declared as the #1 bestseller by Amazon under the category of family and relationships. The book further has the privilege of being the only book to have been launched at a United Nations COP Summit till date. This launch happened on the 1st December 2023. The author, Dr. Manjula Pooja Shroff, MD and CEO of the Calorex Group, is a name synonymous with education in India. She has influenced the lives of more than 88,000 students over the past 3 decades across 60 institutions. Driven by a passion for excellence, she was dedicated her life to the empowerment of students and the advancement of education. She is an executive alumni from Indian Institute of Management and London School of Economics, an author, columnist, blogger, and life coach. She has been honored with several awards, including the Secular India Award from the Honorable President of India. Further, Dr. Shroff believes in working towards the mental, physical, and spiritual well-being of people through her exclusive work called Seraphism. So, before going into the book reading, let's see a video.
My name is Ananda Krishnan and it's a pleasure being with you all here today. After the warm welcome and success of Dr. Manjula Pooja Shroff's life story titled Success Monsters and Music, a book that was launched over multiple cities in India and abroad, Calorex is now proud to present a book on parenting. आज की बदलती दुनिया में parenting has started to assume a much more significant role than ever before. Let's understand from Dr. Shroff as to why is parenting more critical in this world of artificial intelligence. आपकी सोच क्या है इस बारे में?
AI is making rapid advancements at an alarming pace. Effective and proactive parenting is required today more than ever before to develop responsible citizens with feelings of empathy, who can propagate philosophy and work with positive psychology. Global citizens who can build drone techniques, deploy and enforce ethical and good governance of AI practices.
आजकल हम युग का वर्ल्ड कहते हैं, जो कि वोलेटाइल, अनसर्टन, कॉम्प्लेक्स और एम्बिगुअस है। हमें अपने बच्चों की परवरिश इस प्रकार करनी है कि वे भावनात्मक रूप से मजबूत बने और बड़े होकर संतुलित और आत्मविश्वासी बने। उनका लक्ष्य अपने परिवार के साथ साथ मानवता की सेवा करने का भी हो।
Thank you, Maya. In order to demonstrate the future of artificial intelligence, the conversation you just heard was with the author and joke of Dr. Manjula Pooja Shroff. You heard it right? This is not a video by of Dr. Shroff, but her AI avatar, Maya. My own Anasa has developed with the help of artificial intelligence software which
So it's time for the unveiling of the book. I would like to invite Professor Dr. B. Sendil Kumar, Dean, Allied Health Sciences, Vinayga Mission Research Foundation, deemed to be university. No, he told me to invite these five. But they gave me list. I'd like to invite Professor B. Sendil Kumar. Okay, he's not here, I suppose. Professor Sanmugam S., founder and chairman. I think he left. Dr. R. Nandagopal, Director General, School of Management. Is he here? Okay. Dr. J. Yogapriya. Ma'am, are you here?
Maybe outside. They are outside.
Okay.
Invite these people.
Okay. I'd like to invite Uma Kannan, ma'am, founder principal, Sri Venkateshwara Group of Schools. Do come forward, ma'am, on stage. Professor Sarama Samuel, secretary, RVS Group of Institution. Please come forward, ma'am. Mr. Kumar Chandananand, founder, CEO, group editor, ArdorComm Media Group. Please come forward, sir. Ananthakrishnan B., CEO Operations, Calorex Group. Please join with us, sir. Dr. Manjula Pooja Shroff, MD and CEO, Calorex Group. Come forward, ma'am.
I know, that's what she was saying. We need people like you to promote education. Yes.
Applause, please. Congratulations, Manjula ma'am. And I need a book too. I'm reserving you. Yeah. Next, we will continue with the book reading, Fireside chat. For that, Mr. Ananthakrishnan is also on stage, along with Manjula ma'am. So, forward to you.
ஓம் ஸ்ரீ குருபியோ நமஹ. தாய் மண்ணுக்கும் தமிழ் மண்ணுக்கும் பணிவான வணக்கம். இந்த வார்த்தை சொல்கிறதுக்கு ஒரு வருஷம் வெயிட் பண்ண வேண்டியிருக்குது. தமிழ்நாட்டுக்கு வந்தால் தான் வாய்ப்பு கிடைக்கிறது. தமிழ் ரத்தம் ஓடுது இல்லை உடம்புல. இந்த பிளட் இஸ் தமிழ் பிளட். மனசில் குரல், வாயில் தமிழ் வார்த்தை, உடம்புல தமிழ் ரத்தம். இது கூட என்ன வேணும்? We'll go straight to the book reading. My journey of being a Tamil, sometimes later, whenever we sit over a cup of tea and coffee, we'll chat. More than the book, the video is important initially because that connects to the book directly. You saw an audiovisual clip. How many of you relate to that clip in the form that how many of you feel that the person who you saw in that clip is the same person as that of her? Oh, nobody. So nobody is wanting to say that that person and this person are the same. Is that so? Can I take it that way? Is that so? நம்ம தமிழ்காரங்கெல்லாம் வந்து ரொம்ப எனர்ஜெட்டிக்காக இருப்பாங்களே, என்ன இப்போ எங்கே போச்சு எனர்ஜி? அப்படியா? 23 degreesங்க, எங்கே வெயில்? கம் டு அஹமதாபாத் 48, 49 போயிட்டு இருக்குது. So that was the AI avatar and clone of Dr. Shroff. Now the question that would rise in all your minds is, why a AI avatar and clone for an educationalist, right? So it was in one of such conferences that we were going back. I think we were doing a conference in Bangalore about a year or so back, and we were going back, and just about before boarding, she simply said, AK, I want to make a clone and avatar of myself. So people who know Dr. Shroff would know that she is a very, very energetic and enthusiastic person when it comes to work, and whatever she thinks, normally she does. And for those who work with her, would agree the fact, like people like me would agree that if she thinks something, the next 3 months is a bad time for you. So I said, "Irukara karyam poradanu innoru karyama." That is what the mind said, and I forgot. I simply forgot. You board the flight, you eat some good sandwiches, and you forget things, right? Isn't it? So by the time we landed, I'd actually forgotten it. And the next couple of days, she also didn't remind me. It absolutely wiped off from my memory. So she waited for 15 days, thinking that AK will do something. He'll remind of it one day, but nothing happened. AK totally forgot. Then she didn't wait any further. She said, okay, do one thing. Get me a couple of interns from IIT Gandhinagar. So I did not understand why she asking for an IIT intern. So I said, okay, what is the job of an IIT intern in our office? Education people. So in any case, we got her 2 IIT interns, and about 15-20 days of hard work with the interns. They kept on going, kept on coming, and about 2 months there was nothing happened after that. All silence, absolute radio silence. Then one fine evening, she gave me a call. Said, tomorrow is a huddle day, the day when we all meet in terms of our leadership team meets, about 30 of us. Every month once we meet. So I'd like to address my huddle team. I said, lovely. So we called for a meeting at 4. 3:50, she gives me a call and says that, AK, I'm not coming up for this meeting, something urgent has come up. So now I'm thinking what to do, because my huddle people are very eager to meet her, because that's the time we exchange a lot of values and good stuff, in terms of knowledge. So suddenly the light goes off and a video gets played of such kind. Now people are all looking at me, what is this? What's happening here? You should have seen the first version of Maya, right? The eyes going somewhere, the voice going somewhere. Education people, the bigger thing is, nowhere ever in this country has any education company, education or institution thought about or has created an artificial clone and a version of a person. That's the level of work that we're doing in education, 1. 2, since the time Maya has come into earth, it is easy to create an artificial intelligence clone and avatar, but it is more than what is created. You have to implement. What is that person going to do? What is that clone going to do? As she said, the NEP document is formulated, but how are you going to implement it? That's more important. அந்த ரஜினி ஒரு தலைவர் படத்தில் வந்து பார்த்துருக்கீங்களா, ரோபோ படத்தில் அந்த ஒரு ரோபோ கிரியேட் பண்ணிட்டு அது புதிய மனிதா பூமிக்கு வான்னு ஒரு பாட்டு உண்டு. ஸோ அந்த பாட்டில் வந்து அவங்க அந்த ரோபோக்கு வந்து மெமரி கொடுக்குறாங்க. தி இன்ஃப்யூஸ் ஆல் தி டிஜிட்டல் ஸ்டஃப் தட் that the robot reminds, and remembers. So other மாதிரி we had to pure 2 months of dedicated work to be done to make the robo or make the AI clone and avatar work for education. Since then, this AI avatar and clone Maya, I'm very proud to announce, has already worked on content which a team of leading 25 teachers would have churned over 3 years. This does in about 2 months' time. That is the level of work AI can do for us, provided we put it in the right usage. So ma'am, my first question to you is, we are an education company, we run schools, right? 60 institutions across the different parts of the country. AI and parenting. Schooling is about parenting. Schooling is about nurturing young kids, right? AI and parenting are absolutely different connotations, right? But in this book and through your journey, you have brought them together. How did you do that, ma'am?
Vanakkam again. See, the purpose of creating Maya was twofold. First, that school teachers should not imagine that AI is a different animal that they don't understand. Today, all the Calric school teachers are very familiar with AI because they interact with Maya on a daily basis. Remember what I said, what you understand, you'll teach. If you're no longer afraid of AI, because you understand AI, because you're interacting with Maya, you'll create the same understanding in your classroom with children, that this is an opportunity to harness. First purpose. The second purpose is this narrative in society that parents don't need to be involved with children's upbringing. If you have a good school, school will do the job. That has to change. You see, parenting today is a very natural and a very protective instinct. We try to protect our children against all kinds of failure. The reality is, with artificial intelligence, every student will have to fail. Take an example. A child is playing chess or badminton with a robot. What are the chances the student, the human being, is going to win? Zero chance. Therefore, the need for parents to teach failure to students is very important. We can't teach that in classroom. The parent is a partner to the human development of the student. And therefore, in the age of parenting and AI had to be linked together. The new normal parent has to understand what are the complexities that AI will throw up and how should they do new age parenting.
Pramada, very nice, very nice. This book, ma'am, talks about communication being a science, being an earlier form of a science, right? Even our, I should say, the Vedic textbooks have believed that strongly, right? The Bhakta Prahlad story and the Abhimanyu story, they're all testimony to the fact. How have you bought the same thing here in this book?
See, the book is divided as per development. Science of education says that all learning is age-specific. So we understand that age-specific teaching or concepts should be taught. So the book is divided into several ways, and the key of it is communication. How can you do better parenting? Through communication. So the book is divided into fetal learning. At the womb, how can the mother talk to the child? Which the example that he gave about Prahlad or Abhimanyu. These are examples of how the mother used to converse with the child in the womb. The second stage is infant. If you have an infant in the house, what should you talk? How should you talk? Toddlers, preschoolers, foundational years, primary years, pre-teens, teens, and tough talk. Each of these categories have relevant subjects that you should talk to your child. The book is like it's more like a handbook. You pick up a chapter which is relevant to the age and discuss those topics. Because all growth is either biological or psychological.
Very nice, very nice. While reading this book, I could see about 4 to 5 chapters dedicated on fears, particularly across different age groups, right? I was also bringing a parallel similarity from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 16.1, the Adhyaya 16.1, which talks about fear in great detail. Which you can kindly explain. Explain the different kind of fears that children have and how can parents go about it?
So, rightly said, why is fears important? Because it's your limiting factor. Sometimes you don't do things just because you're afraid. And you know, the beauty of it is, if you were young and somebody just talked to you, you'd get rid of your fear. If you didn't do that, it can become a lifelong liability. How many people in this room afraid of ghosts? Afraid of sleeping alone in the dark? It's nothing but fear of darkness. So children go through fear of darkness, fear of strangers, fear of loud noises, fear of wardrobes, fear of heights. You know, a lot of us suffer from vertigo. It's nothing but fear of heights, which could have been resolved when you were younger. Fear of doctors, fear of insects, rejection by friends, fear of ghosts, like I already mentioned, fear of losing loved ones, evil people, disappointing parents, failure at school, and world events. So the book talks about a series of fears and how to handle them.
Talking about fear, she is a Rajkumari from a princely state of Odisha. What do we normally, get in mind when we the Raja Rani kathaiyeல்லாம் கேட்கும்போது நமக்கு என்ன வரும் மனசுல? Anybody? What comes to our mind? எனக்கு வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னாக்கா இந்த குதிரை, யானை, நிறைய தங்கம், நிறைய 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 வேலைக்காரங்க, ஸோ மாளிகை, பேலஸ், லவ்லி. இப்போல்லாம் என்ன 2 bedroom 3 bedroom, மிஞ்சி போனால் 4 bedroom, ரொம்ப மிஞ்சி போனால் 5 bedroom. இவங்கெல்லாம் மாளிகைக்காரங்க. ஸோ ஐம் சேயிங் வி டாக்கிங் அபௌட் தி வீடியோ. பட் தென் நீங்கள் மாளிகையில் பிறந்ததுனால உங்களுக்கு எல்லாமே லைஃப்பில் நல்லா நடக்கும், அது கேரண்டி கிடையாது. பர்டிகுலர்லி இவங்க கேஸில் அதெல்லாம் ஒன்றுமே கேரண்டி இல்லை. When she was very young, I think less than about 18 years, she has almost all seen more than 12 deaths in the family, including her parents, her grandparents. அவங்க மதர், கிராண்ட் யார் அவளை வளர்த்தாங்களோ எல்லாரும் இறந்து போயிட்டாங்க. ஆனால் கூட she survived. And not only survived, she fought. How did you do that?
So, it's very unfortunate to face death. But when death knocks so often, if you're very young and you're 20s, like he already said, if you see about a dozen deaths, you start to question why there are so many repetitive learnings. You know how it is in life. Either you learn or life will repeat itself. Simple funda of life. Either you learn or life will repeat itself. So when deaths were repeating in my life, I started to tell myself that I have to learn what this death is about. Otherwise it will continue to repeat. If you're a human being, life gives you no other guarantee, but it gives you one guarantee. Anybody wants to tell me what is that one guarantee life gives you? There is only one guarantee in life, and that is death. So being born a princess, I possibly was extremely fortunate with very high karma. But there were no guarantees. There were no guarantees that I would not see 12 deaths when I was 20. There were no guarantees that I would be living by myself in Delhi and flying by DTC buses. And there's this one story I always tell. Then mujhe ye nahi pata tha that when you get onto a bus, you have to buy a ticket and get off after 2 stops. I should just get lost because I used to keep sitting in the bus. I had no idea how to travel in public transport. I always had people, so it can be very, very rough because you're not worldly wise, you're not prepared. But life teaches you. So what are we doing in the classroom to teach our students that? That uncertainty, that non-guarantee that life gives, and that preparedness towards death. If you don't build a human being, if you build a good student, what's the point? If you're building good students in the classroom, AI will do it better than you. Let us build good human beings.
Fantastic.
That is our role.
Fantastic, fantastic. Ma'am, teenage we all know is a tough time for any parent, right? But nowadays the toughest time happens to be the preteens, 10, 11, right? That's probably one time when you really feel, where's your child gone, right? You feel as you're lost with your child. How to handle the preteen at home? And what kind of challenges do parents face with preteens?
See, preteens, Everybody knows 13, 14 onwards is teens. And we all know, and we'll discuss in a bit, why preteens are so challenging. But teens are so challenging. But preteens, which is ages 10, 11, and 12, have become more critical today because you know what? Children are not growing in our homes alone. They're growing on the internet. There's a parallel life. There is a dark life that we are not aware of. Children through gaming and through internet learn so many things that we have not taught them. So young children of 10-year-old, 11-year-old are learning romance, intimacy. What do they understand? Body shaming, pornography. All this they see on the internet without any understanding. I think our role as educators is to make them understand these realities of life. There is one example that I always give to illustrate what happens at preteens. So take an age 10 girl. You know, we teach mensuration in mathematics, which most students don't understand. And Anantakrishnan tells me he never used his mensuration that he learned in mathematics. I'm talking about the real life mensuration, biological mensuration. We don't explain to our children. And sometimes there is pre-mensuration. Children attain puberty earlier. So you know as class teachers, at age 11, if a girl has attained mensuration, you know what we do? All the housekeeping items, how to use a clean pad, what is hygiene. There's a film also made called Padman. All that we do. But we don't explain to them the psychological impact of puberty. You see, when puberty arrives, it means there is a understanding, the body has understanding of gender needs. So at age 11, this girl will naturally talk to opposite sex. And you know what? In teenage, there's a possible reaction to same sex. So gay or lesbianism actually starts at this age. We don't explain all of that. How will children find out? How will they learn? So this book actually has case studies. It had simulation exercises, activities. These are real because our teachers have given it to us. It's not theory at all. The names are changed for confidentiality, but this book is actually a data-driven book. So we talk about real life examples and how to deal with them in the classroom.
I will take one last question.
Yes.
In the teenage world, we are, facing problems like, we call it 4 Ps, right? Facing problems like privacy, predators, pornography, pop-ups. And the problematic internet usage not only adds all to the complexities of life, right? So how is a parent supposed to actually handle this situation? And how is the conversation with a child important at this level?
So I love to give this example about what really happens at teenage. At teenage, a child is moving from childhood to adulthood. So, they're finding their voice, they're finding their identity, they're finding their I, which means I need to be heard, my voice is important, I have an opinion. They are raving. Indian parenting is very dictatorial. Indian parenting is very authoritative. Indian parenting is, you have to do this. I know best. So the parents are coming from this side, children are coming from this side, and there is always a conflict. And you know what we expect as parents and elders? The child should learn. Child isn't subordinate. How will the child learn if you haven't learned as an adult? So whether you're a parent or you're an educator, what I said earlier in my keynote, if you learn, you can teach. So for parents and educators, we have to first change. We have to first understand where the children are coming from and not demand children to automatically grow up. We can't do that. If we are doing it, they're struggling. That's why there is drugs. That's why there's vaping. They're not understood. Sex is a different topic altogether. There is just so much teenage sex that's not even funny. If schools are not teaching sex education, we are doing disservice to the nation. Let us teach. Let us talk. It's happening. We are closing eyes.
Lovely, fantastic. If you ask me, ma'am, this is not a book to me. This is a manual. I come from a place called Tirunelveli. Many of us here will know. We are known for the Chidambaram style of functioning, male dominancy, right? That's how it is, right? So, patriarchal, yeah. So, the women at home don't get a chance to speak. And I have only one daughter. So, before this book came to my hands, it was very evident that I was the
boss.
The Chidambaram guy, right? So, so then I kind of, yeah, I'm aware of it, but even then I'm a Chidambaram guy. So, at least I used to be one. So, after going through the book, I really found out the flaws in my level of parenting, right? And today I'm very, very happy to announce that I have one daughter who is in second year, who just completed second year in Manipal Institute of Management. She's doing a 5-year course. So there were days when we never used to talk because we never used to go together well because of ideologies and thoughts, right? I used to question her everything that she used to do. But today I am her best friend, right? We talk anything, everything under the sun, right? And I have 2 copies of this book. One, I use it for my consumption. I read it because we have an educator in the group and I have to deal with a lot of people around. Second is, I have kept 1 copy out of selfish interest in my daughter's drawer. 10 years down the line, when she gets married and she becomes a mother, she'll definitely need it, right? So, I think she has been kind enough to bring a few copies with her. Ma'am, if you permit, it can be distributed. So she'll distribute it while the tea is happening. And if anybody wants to get us signatures, ma'am, if you can kindly sign the book also. You want more copies for the library, feel free. I'm here around with you guys. So feel free. I'll give you more copies for the library. That NEP book also, Bibles can't be left down. So that NEP book also is carrying, I'm carrying that with me. So if you want that, you can give the NEP book also. You want more books of NEP? Let me know. I'll send it to your school. Okay. One last thing. If we fall short, here's a scanner. You can scan. Take the third option. It's a free option, 0 cost option. You can. The thing will come to you at your residence by courier. People find such talks, right, difficult to be spoken at school levels, right? You can't talk about sex openly to a teacher or to a parent. I mean, I'm telling you, this book will really open you up. I talk boys with my daughter. I talk sex with my daughter. I teach her what her mother finds it difficult. I do it for her because we are that comfortable talking about it, right? So, anybody wanting us to come down to your school to do a session for your parents on parenting, we'll be more than happy to come down to your school and do it, right? And the next book, though I'm not supposed to be announcing it, I'm not giving out the names, but the next book is even more wonderful. It is 2 notch higher than this book. Please wait for that book too. And once it comes, we'll definitely come around with that book also to you, right? As of now, this is a beautiful book. Take it and please use it. Thank you very much. Vaipu Nandri, Vanakkam. Thank you. Oh, all right, sure. All right, okay, please, ma'am.
3 or 5. So, if you have any questions, you can ask. It's an open session,
Yes, ma'am.
so whoever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
As of now, yes.
So I think it's a lovely topic that you spoke about fear. And it's also a topic I think I've heard very little about being spoken. So it's really nice. Thank you so much. It's a great day.
Thank you. My name is Vagisha, and I'd just like to get your thoughts on fear because it's something that we deal with a lot in really young children. And if you could, with an example, just explain a little more about it, it will be really helpful. Thank you.
Sure. Let me give you an example that I experienced. So while I was doing research and listing down the thoughts, the fears, there was one fear called fear of wardrobe. So everybody, you know what a wardrobe is, right? It's like a cupboard, but you have, it's a more like a Western concept. There you have full length, your full sari will be hanging, or full gown will be hanging. It's like a walk-in space, which is naturally dark, right? So when I was writing it in a toddler space and that there's a fear of wardrobe, I was like, really? You know, it's so unusual, right, as a fear. And so, of course, I was writing it because research threw it up. But it became a real example for me about the time that before the book was releasing, I was traveling to America and some old school friends were there. And I was sharing a room with a school friend of mine. And we were chatting into the night, right? And here I was from India, jet lagged and all of that. We were chatting into the night. It was almost 3 a.m. And we were going to hit the bed. And this friend of mine, Shivani, she says, Manjula, will you please just shut the wardrobe door? And I'm like, you know, it's 3 o'clock. I'm ready to just totally collapse. There's no way I'm getting off the bed. Why don't you go do it? And she was like, please. And I was like, forget it, I'm not getting off the bed. So she says, no, you have to, because if you don't do it, if you don't shut the door, I can't sleep. This is midlife, okay? The fear, if you don't deal with it, can take you till your grave. Now, the minute she said that, and since the book was in the manuscript, forgot need, everything went out the window. I sat down and I told her, tell me what happened in your childhood. And she was like, no, nothing. She says, I can't go to my basement. I can't, if the door is, I freeze. I can't go to a wardrobe that is in the dark. So I told her, let's go down. Go down your memory lane. Tell me what happened. And we were able to identify that when she was little, way back, they were asleep and their house got broken into. And you know how they spray something to make you sleep? So her parents and she were, they sprayed something, the robbers, and they were asleep. And the whole house was ransacked. So in the morning when she woke up, in her little mind, she thought the robbers were hiding in the closet. Whole life, she can't. And in America, in a very cold country, the basements are very dark and damp. She says, I can never walk into the basement. I'm imagining all kinds of people. That's what fear can cause. So pick up the book, as per the age, just discuss the fear in the classroom. Don't think the children know, they may not be able to explain, express. Don't assume anything. Pick up the book, discuss the topic, because it is age relevant anyways. Make sense?
Yes.
Fantastic. Any more questions, please? Any more questions? All right, so we'll go for the book signing. Thank you very much.
Ma'am, I wanted to extend my heartfelt congratulations for you on this book launch. And I have a preteen at home, so I know that this book will be very helpful for me. And also, I have no doubt that your book will captivate readers far and wide. Congratulations once again.